if I'm being honest, like a runaway train with the two of us on it. Away we go to the sunrise to try avoid the crash, to try avoid the cries. It's the last stop, the doors are closed, so don't go looking back. 'Cause hindsight's fine till it's our love that's on the line, with our hearts so cold, but nobody wants to fold. I think this time it's been the hardest truth to find. So for all it's worth, I'm calling off the search. I'm calling off the search. It's the quietest place. You won't even acknowledge me. All the silence, I hate it. Holding back our apologies. The dirt on the floor, the milk for the cat, the plates in the sink, the ghosts in the attic. We've been living on scraps of love these days. 'Cause hindsight's fine till it's our love that's on the line, with our hearts so cold, but nobody wants to fold. I think this time it's been the hardest truth to find. So for all it's worth, I'm calling off the search. I'm calling off the search. Hindsight's fine till it's our love that's on the line, with our hearts so cold, but nobody wants to fold. I think this time it's been the hardest truth to find. So for all it's worth, I'm calling off the search. I'm calling off the search. I'm calling off the search.
Joining me in studio, it is finally that day of the release. There's no more days left on the countdown. It is just hours and minutes and seconds to debut album number 1 for Mr. Pa Sheehy. How are you feeling today, Pa?
I'm feeling good, man. Yeah, thanks for having me in.
Well, it's great to have you here. And how did you put it, Bruntonus?
Brunton's bugged it. Yeah.
I don't know what. Well, it's far bigger than Bjog, because I was honestly taken aback that you would give this me. And is it the first gifted one, or have you just been handing them to everyone on the way?
First gifted one, man, just for you.
Well, I'm blown away by looking at it, because it is the beautiful vinyl record. I'm trying to just peel it off very gently and everything to have a proper look. But maybe it was all for this. What does that name mean? Is it a mantra that you kind of apply to your entire life journey, or is it in particular your music career leading up to this first debut solo album?
Yeah, probably a bit of both. I remember when the title fell on my lap, I was like, what does this mean, or where is this coming from? But as you say, I kind of like, I suppose I've been in the music industry now for a while, and this kind of feels like everything I've worked for in a little package. And I'm just so proud of the tunes on it.
Yeah, and you've played 2 of them for us in studio, and you really should be proud of them. I mean, we've heard the first 3 releases from it, and it's amazing. Even, you know, walking in cars, starting in a bedroom jam and being picked up by Red Bull, and even saying those words is like, wow, that was a different place. And maybe MySpace was involved in that as well. And now going through that journey and then trying to figure out your own solo style. And even that's gone through a few different chapters. So how do you compare the songs on this to your first releases as a solo artist?
I suppose initially I was just kind of figuring myself out for the first couple of years, particularly on the first EP. I probably stuck to what I knew more than experimenting. So the first EP that I released as a solo artist was probably sounded like a Walk on a Cars record. Do you know what I mean? And then I felt once that was done, I had a bit of freedom to kind of, okay, really figure out who's Sheehy. Do you know what I mean? So over the last couple of years, I've released a few more EPs just to kind of figure my sound out, and I kind of fell in love with loads of different artists, and then they obviously, you draw inspiration from them, and so it's all in on this record. I feel like I've finally figured myself out, and it's all here on this album.
And like you, it's the saying, go big or go home. You went massive altogether. So 14 songs on this album.
Yeah, there's 14 on it. One's an interlude and one is a piano version of another song. So there's
lazy.
12.
Yeah,
I know. It looks good.
It's like write a 2-page essay and you just said the end in big capital letters. So I'm just again looking at this vinyl. Right, I'm afraid to damage it in any way because it's such a lovely bit of work. But you were telling me that this is were these photos taken Barrow House back?
Barrow
Phoenix
House in Phoenix. Yeah. So Killian Garvey at Tralee Man, and Sharon Reedy was with him as well, another Tralee lady. We went out to Barrow House about 6 months ago now, and did all the shots on the day. And Killian, fair play to him, he's taken over like the whole artwork side of the whole record, and he's been unbelievable. So yeah, hats off to him.
Hats off to him. And I'm just sliding the vinyl record out of this package again, and it's that beautifully simple. Sheehy, maybe it was all for this, and it reminds me obviously of your earlier track, Meet Me at the Record Store. This is your own record, with Moon Records, which is your record.
It's my own record label.
Where'd you get the name Moon?
I don't know, man. I thought of Moon Records, and I was like, that doesn't sound right. Then Moon just. I feel like when you talk about the stars or the galaxy or something, it's like, okay, we're going somewhere.
Yeah.
So putting 2 moons in there is like, okay, we're definitely going somewhere. So it just felt right.
Yeah. So side A, side B, and is there a different feel from one side to the next, or how do you think all of that worked out in terms of the track listing? Because again, there's. What some might say is 14 tracks. There's actually 2, which are
Chancer tracks.
Yeah, the Chancer tracks. Yeah, of course. The interlude, the piano cover of it. But is there a different feel from one side to the other, or how did you work and plan all that out?
Do you know what? I was wondering how to do it, and I remember a story about when U2 were putting one of their albums together, and they actually gave the whole album to Sinead O'Connor, and Sinead O'Connor picked the tracking list, and she gave it back to them, and they're like, perfect, that's unbelievable, how did you do it? And she literally just said, it's my favourite from 1 to the end, and that was it. And I kind of did the same thing here, except for 1 or 2 tracks. It just felt like it needed a bit of a push at certain places, but in terms of like energy and my favourite, it's going from the top to the bottom. And there's a track called Wretched on it that I released about 2 years ago, and that was released already, so I was unsure about putting it in, but it felt like the record needed like a finale, so that's the big one at the end.
That's
felt right.
The crescendo then at the end. My own favourite at this moment in time is Under the Orange Sky, because like today started out, beautiful blue skies, that low-lying cloud, or is it sort of frost that's burning off, and that gorgeous orange sunlight that you get in the morning in October. Under the Orange Sky, for me, it just paints the place that we live in so lovely. But obviously it's about more than just the weather and how nice a day it is. So tell us a bit more about Under the Orange Sky.
Yeah, again, one of those tunes that kind of just fell on my lap. I met a friend of mine over in London, and we sat down, and the first thing we played was that little piano riff, and that felt like a really strong melody to kind of hang the song on. And in terms of theme wise, it's a song about I suppose looking at something that was beautiful and that did happen, and although it's over and it's finished, you can still look back and think, geez, wow, because like beautiful things don't last. Do you know what I mean? Some beautiful things don't last, and that doesn't mean you have to look back at them and think, why didn't that work out? Do you know what I mean? Sometimes you can look back and think, wow, wasn't that a moment? Do you know what I mean? So Under the Iron Sky kind of captures that kind of essence of beauty in the past without holding on to any expectation of what it could have been like.
Yeah, and sort of imagining, oh, but if only I had done this. And
Yeah,
again,
yeah.
it leads us around to maybe it was all for this. And maybe that mistake at that path that you might say, and it's like, well, it's led me here, so maybe it was all for this.
Yeah. Watch him. I like that.
Watch him. You gotta finish it. Watch him. Listen, there. Speaking of colloquialisms and dingleisms, you are going to be performing a local gig. That album from start to finish, quite a sort of, a homecoming, a celebration, and just a get together for all pals and everything. So, what are the nerves like ahead of this gig? Is it a bit more nerve wracking than playing in Brussels at a festival, or?
Yeah, it is. It is, because all your family and friends are there, and then there's a bunch of fans there as well. So there's kind of expectation from. I suppose I put a lot of pressure on myself as well, which is fair enough. But after one or two songs, I usually settle into it, and it goes okay. So no, I'm really looking forward to it.
Mighty well. I'll be there, hopefully heckling to, as best as I possibly can. Play the next one. Listen, Pat Sheehy, thank you so much for popping in and for sharing the great music on your journey during Walking in Cars and now this post experience of your solo album career, but debut album as a solo artist. Just congratulations.
Yeah, thanks very much, and I'd like to say a big huge thank you to yourself and everybody at Radio Kerry for supporting my music through the Walking in Cars period up till now. Huge appreciation, so thank you so much.
We wouldn't support it if it was rubbish. Passion, thanks so much. Cheers.
Jimmy's got Joanna on his shoulders. Someone spilled the Dutch gold on the TV. We're so far from ever getting older, gazing the stars lying on the trampoline. All this smoke, but I'm not getting higher. An orange light beyond the willow tree. I could hear the sirens from the other side of town. We were drinking whiskey on the night the school burnt down. More faces than you would see at communion, gathered around to watch their fortunes turn. And as the flames were dancing or reflecting on the crowd, we were drinking whiskey on the night the school burned down. What a sight to see our future bright, burning up, being swallowed by the sky. Lifted by sandy light, and our silhouettes being etched into the night, being etched into the night. And when all the smoke is gone, just another cloudy day, just another cloudy day. And when all the kids are gone, just a building in the rain, just a building in the rain. feels like nothing ever happened. But the truth is that everything has changed. And I still see the fire when I walk that part of town. Yeah, we were drinking whiskey on the night the school burned down. Yeah, we were drinking whiskey on the night the school burned down.